Hey, welcome to the Christian Media Marketing Show. My name is John. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I know there's lots of different people giving out all sorts of information out there. And I love to listen, watch the videos, listen to podcasts about lots of different subjects as well. And so thanks for including me. If you are watching the show here on YouTube, thanks for doing that as well. Well, this week's episode, I kind of hinted about it in last week's episode. But there's a lot of changes that are going on. That's just the reality of social media. Things that we used to do even 6 months ago, we don't do now. It's just constantly changing. And one of the areas of biggest change is the use of AI, of large language models, of all sorts of technology. The goal being to make things easier and maybe the results to be better, but as with anything that's new, sometimes there are some challenges, there are learning curves. And with what I want to share with you today, sometimes I think maybe we shouldn't necessarily use something that isn't completely ironed out in the work that we're doing. The problem is that some of these things are happening and we have no control over them. Things are being turned on, things are being taken away. And so we have to adapt in our digital engagement efforts to this always changing landscape. So what I'd like to share with you today, and I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'll try to talk through this as much as I can for those of you on the podcast. This is one where if you get a chance after you've listened to the podcast, go into your accounts and look at some of this. You'll see it on the screen if you're watching here on YouTube, but in Meta, in Facebook specifically, it is making some changes that are, from what we're hearing, pretty radical, pretty big in some ways. I do think the potential for them are really good. And some of them we are using right now in those whom we serve. But this is one specifically that I want to draw to your attention. So let's dive into it together. All right. So let's dive into what changes that I want to specifically bring to your attention. If you if you have your ad account, you can follow along. If not, if you're just listening to the podcast, great. I'm going to walk you through this so that you can hear it and I think know where to go and also just know what some of the challenges are that we are seeing. So what you need to do is go into your business.facebook.com, your business account there, and then you're going to click on the three lines, which is your all tools. And when you do that, there's going to be an area under the advertising banner that says automated rules. And I want you to click on automated rules. And when you do that, it'll bring up a screen that's going to show you any kind of automated rules in the history that you've created. All right. And so that's one thing. That's a completely different subject. But then there's a button that says automatic adjustments. Let's click on that automatic adjustment button. And now I'm going to show you what Facebook is now doing with your ad accounts. So when you click on that, it's going to bring up this screen, a screen that says turn on automatic adjustments. And then it's going to give you campaign structure, audience, creative and format, delivery and engagement, and spend and schedule as the areas that it's going to say the AI can help you with, or in some ways just take over. First things first, check to make sure that this turn on automatic adjustments is not actually turned on in your account unless you want it. What we have heard is that there are some accounts that this has been turned on and they don't ever remember doing it. And so if you have not turned it on, well, check and see if it's on there or not. Let me walk through then some of the things that it's trying to do here. And so this will make adjustments across your account. You can do it in certain areas, the ones I just mentioned, and then it's going to be applied automatically, right? So it's looking to optimize. It's looking to make your ads better or just the content better. But here's some of the ways to do that. So if you were to pick campaign structure, all right, this is the ad sets can be combined. Ads that it believes are underperforming can be turned off, and then it will redistribute your budget. Now you think about this. If you're doing different types of audiences based upon different types of things, this could be bad. The truth is, don't believe that Meta knows what I'm wanting to accomplish. trying to share the good news in places where there's just hostility to the gospel. The click through ratio or certain metrics will never be fantastic. And so it might turn something off because it doesn't think it's doing well, where you and I might think this is doing great. So if you look, there's also things where you can look for auction overlap and it will turn off ad sets, reduce audience fragmentation. It will auto apply that. So this is where it begins to combine ad sets, combine audiences, you adjust your budgets automatically. And it does this on a daily schedule. I'm just not comfortable with this yet. You may be. And so test it out and see. But this is one of the areas. Audiences, adjusting your audiences, showing your ad to people that the AI believes it will be better. Now, this is one we have played with and do use at times. We don't do it here in automatic adjustments, but we do work with Advantage Plus audiences simply because there's just more data there and we can still restrict it by geography, by language, by other things. So the audience would be one there. The ad is another one, the ad creative. And this is one, if you go and you upload your video or your picture, you put your headline, your copy, all of those things in, it can sit there and begin to make some changes to it. And we're seeing sometimes that the changes, especially when it's trying to understand the language that the ad is in, isn't necessarily good. So it can optimize the ad creative. So it turns on what it calls standard enhancements. Sometimes this is simply just making the picture brighter, things like that. But what I'm finding is that sometimes it means it's going to take bits of the text and put it in different places. It's going to really do a lot of changes. Yes, it's great to know what is happening. But even then, I think the AI is going to do well at this. It's just, do I want it to be doing things that I just know have no control over? Well, it depends. When we start talking about what is being communicated, that is one area I personally would really want to be leaning into and making sure what it's doing is what I want it to be communicating. So the creative, the formatting is another area where it will begin to do things. The delivery, the engagements, the placements, where it's being ran. I think this one could be a really good one. I mean, if you're spending money to show the ad in some place and nobody's clicking on it, well, great. Let the AI help you there. So this could be one. The spend itself, it says it's never going to overcharge you, but you may go in and go, wait a minute, why didn't our ad show today? Or why did it go twice as much here? That's the AI. So the bid, the scheduling, all of those things, it can automatically adjust. And so these are major things that it's doing. And so I really encourage you to jump in there and look at automatic adjustments and see if it's turned on. And let me show you just a little bit about what I was talking about how it takes things and then auto translates it and tries to change some of your creative and your headlines here. All right. So as we're diving into this, as AI is making a lot of these changes, as we're seeing things, just be careful, especially in my opinion, when it's trying to use AI to change the text of what you're doing. I'll bring up on the screen here. Here was an ad that was being worked on, and the language, I just don't think that the AI understood it because it brought up text generation that had nothing to do of the subject, and it wasn't even in the same language. Now, when you're running the ads, when you upload it, it will go text, media, trim, copy, all of those things. Well, there's visual touch-ups, there's video filters, there's even the text improvement where it says it will take the primary text, your headline, or the description, and it will move those around. That's not what I'm talking about here. That's fine if you want to do that to try to see how that does. This is a specific AI function that's taking place, and I just want to encourage you to be careful as you're doing that. All right. So hopefully this will be something you can dive into your account, take a look at it, see if it's turned on without you knowing it, and play with it if you want to. In my opinion, some of these could be really powerful. Some of them, I'm going to wait a little bit before I use them. If you do use them, if you are finding that it's a tremendous benefit to you, reach out. Let me know. I'd love to hear how it is helping you. All right. So, to that end, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for just being a part of this community. Episode 270. Over 5 years of these have been going out, and I'm just honored to be able to do that with you. So, keep pressing forward, making Jesus famous, working and striving for the renewal of all things. May God bless all of your efforts. Until next time, take care and God bless.